Okay. You ready?
We're on.
We're on. All right, so we're gonna call to order the meeting of the Village of Tuxedo Park Planning Board. It is January the 13th. Yes, January 13th at 7 o'clock in the evening. Just a little bit of business before we get started. I'd like to welcome our two new members who are now fully sworn in and official. Ms. Natalia, hey, I'll let you say it. Tajovich and
One's a bit easier. Nelson.
Nelson. Jeremy Kitty, who I have to say his name because last time my brain exploded when I tried to introduce him. And Council Amy Levine, and everyone knows John. And I think that's it. So our one item for this evening is a new house on 182 Tuxedo Road. We saw this before and then everybody discovered there's a reason why no one's tried to build on that lot in the past. And you guys have come back with an alternate plan that has the house basically in the same place, but on piles at this point, I think.
Right.
But why don't you tell us what's going on? We're pretty informal here, so you can feel free to come forward and sit we can pretend it's a conference table.
Yeah.
Whatever, however you want to do it. You'll present to us, we'll ask questions, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay. Irina Ioffe Architecture. I'm an architect on this project, and like we met before. Everybody, not everybody. Yes, this project brought us some surprises with the site, and I will let Will from Spargo and Youngblood talk more about it. We felt that with all the setbacks that we had to obey on this property, especially the one which is 150 feet from the Tuxedo Road, because of the oil district, we kind of restricted to this small triangle on a property to fit the 5,000 square foot house. So we didn't feel that we tried to kind of like bring it up, maybe to go for variances and bring it closer to the road, but we felt that it's not the road everybody wants us to go to. So we trying to work with what we have, and it's a very challenging site. And we did a lot of investigation. We asked geotech engineers to do the boring and to do investigation, to do discoveries, and they gave us a report, a thorough report of what they found, and what they found was not a great soil. So they gave us some recommendations. One of them was to replace all the bad soil, which we calculated quickly, and we just came up with a understanding that we're going to spend huge amount of money to do that. So we decided to do some kind of a hybrid of what they were suggesting, to place the house on our piles, and what we did, we turned the patio into the deck, and we put the deck on the piles as well. And of course, like a couple other areas we would still have to replace the soil, and Will is going to collaborate on that. So that's the direction we decided to move on. Another thing that we would like to talk about is about the construction entrance, and why we would like to have it in a specific side of the site. We would like to ask you to allow us to do that. So maybe we also received the letter with the comments, and we had a conversation with Will and Steve from Spargo and Youngblood, and they will probably answer some of these questions today, address some of these questions today, and hopefully we can move forward. Okay.
And just I don't expect full answers, obviously,
Yeah.
to that report. That's, but it is.
Yeah, we just received it, so,
Of
but
course.
we already have like some of the answers.
All right, so I'm sorry, just for the record, state your name, sir.
William Johnson from Sporacco and Youngblood,
Thank you.
in Harriman, New York. The site is a difficult site, and we've attempted to make it work as best as possible. The building and the patio or deck is all going to be on piers. The driveway and this larger area parking area and the turnaround to get into the garage. And part of this driveway is in the muck area. We show on here an envelope with the large thick dash line around where we are recommending that all that material is removed and taken off of site. And then backfilled. Now, part of the reason for that is that we've discussed it with our client and with the arena that there would be settling around the house and the driveway wouldn't meet the garage after a while and things like that. So in order to take care of that, we're removing all of that. They do have a right-of-way, a shared easement going through here that's an existing easement. And we're proposing widening that drive to 12 feet up to the proposed driveway into the building, into the property. We also show a stabilized construction entrance here. We did put a note on the plan that says gravel entrance drive to be widened to 12-foot minimum width and used as a haul road and stabilized construction entrance. The drive is to be maintained passable by passenger vehicles at all times. And we also request, as Irina said, is there's a opening in the wall here with pillars on either side. And we propose to have another stabilized construction entrance here, using that as a main construction entrance, because otherwise we'd be blocking this road all the time. Also a staging area in front here. Now, the engineer in his letter is making recommendations that we do drainage mitigation. We looked in your codes and we don't find anywhere where there needs to be drainage mitigation. However, the DEC has a rule that if the site is disturbing more than an acre of land, you have to do mitigation. We've made this area here, and we did a calculation today using all this area within the silt fence and then making a line around this and bringing it back in. We're still under an acre of disturbance. So as far as we're concerned with this letter from the engineer, I think they think there's over an acre of disturbance, which there isn't. So a lot of the remarks that they make here really aren't important unless you tell us that we have to do what they say. We feel that it's not necessary. All of Orange County doesn't require it. In Rockland County, they do require zero net increase in runoff. You have to mitigate no matter what. You make more impervious on the site, you have to mitigate it. Orange County doesn't have that rule. I don't see any rule that you have in your codes. So going by the only other code we can go by is the New York State DEC. We are under an acre of disturbance, so therefore there is no mitigation required for drainage.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to say for things like that, if you can, respond to this and
We will definitely respond to the letter
and
show that.
make the argument, and then we can come to a decision on it.
As far as the sewer line, the inverts are on the sewer, located in the manholes on both ends, and over here and up here. And we have showed the sewer connection right here and the tie-in elevation on there. So that answers that line. he said proposed lateral size of material. If you see note 13, it spells it out.
Okay.
On the water service, we do show a location for a water service, which is right here. And there is a valve there for, we believe, your water main. And we have another valve here. I think it's your water main, but we don't know actually where the water main goes. I don't know who I have to speak to get that water main located.
I think at some point you've been in touch with Jeff Voss, or he had stopped by.
He didn't trace the water main for us, so we don't know exactly where it is.
Okay.
If we need to show it, we'd be happy to do it
Mhm.
if we get it located.
Okay.
As far as the size of the service, in general, it'd probably be a 1-inch service unless Irina has some other mechanical engineer remarks on that. And a 1-inch service is standard pretty much. And we will use, I saw in your water service requirements, K copper. So we will mark that on the plan, that 1-inch K copper, unless is, like I said, if we go larger. And you allow up to 2-inch. So we're okay with either or, as soon as Irene is sure of whether the building is going to be sprinklered or not, and whether the mechanical engineer requires more. As far as showing a water shut off, that's not a problem. Material and diameter, it's not a problem. Provide connection details for the proposed water service. John, do you know if you have water details, service details, or we just use our standards?
I can pull up some standards that we may have gotten from our engineer in the past.
Okay, if you would forward them to us, I'd appreciate it.
Mhm.
As far as the stormwater management, I think we answered that. Unless somehow you decide that it's required, and we do have a way to mitigate it.
Well, let me.
But it's more
let me-
expensive.
Let me address that. We've had a lot of problems over the years because of the terrain in the village, the amount of impervious surface, and the fact that most of the water ends up in the reservoir. So we have pretty consistently required people to manage the water on their own property and show a zero net, runoff. I'll let the engineer speak to that also, but we have required this of other developments.
Okay, like I said, we have a
Mhm.
possible way of handling that. One is that we could possibly use pervious pavers on the site and put a reservoir under the pavement, the pavers that is, of stone, and the roof leaders and the driveway itself will all take the water and it will go into a stone base. And because all of that muck is being removed, it will be in a gravel fill of some kind that's going to be brought up in lifts. And so it'll all be solid and it'll be the reservoir. Any water that overflows through that will seep like sheet flow. If we get a severe rain, it will seep like sheet flow to the yard drains we have shown on the plan.
I mean, it would seem that this, with all the excavation you're gonna be doing, if you really, I mean, it's like 6 or 8 feet of peat in there,
It
isn't
can be
it?
6 to 11 feet according to the report
Right.
that the hydrologist said.
You save money on, you save money on gravel if you put those arch plastic infiltrators in there or something like
You
that.
would, however, elevation might be difficult to drain it.
Yeah.
That we're very tight on elevation on this job. And there's no way to really drain it formally out with an overflow. This is actually a hole right here. It's a very low spot.
Yeah.
So, all right, so this is,
At the same time, we've put a swale around the upper side of the property so that any water coming this way is not going into the driveway or going into under the building.
Mhm.
So it'll all be swaled around, and that doesn't have to be mitigated. That's natural runoff that exists.
So the water doesn't flow, doesn't flow towards the lake.
The
Uh,
whole,
there-
the whole property
this
is really
storm
just
drain-
a bowl.
Right. This storm drain, that we're putting a yard drain on, and we're taking this pipe out altogether, will flow this way. And that's the way it's been flowing. that pipe exists and it's been flowing that way. We can take the pipe out in between because this portion actually flows here and goes this way, which flows away from the lake. I'm not sure where all of that goes. We didn't trace it all out, but this manhole exists, the storm drain, and this one exists, and it's a large pipe, 24 inch. And it takes all the water in the area that I know of. In fact, you could hear it running like crazy when we opened the manhole. So, yes, some of this is drained through that.
On my item, but where it
Area.
is, it probably eventually in the racetrack and goes down the front range and into the river,
Okay.
would be my guess. You guys, this is sort of right on the height of land between which way things flow.
He also said additional items, provide information on the easement. The easement is provided on here. It's provided and it's, meets and bounds are there. And it's only spelled out as a center line of an easement on the deed. So it doesn't even have a width. So we can't do any more than that. It's been that way for years. So we are widening the drive a bit and more toward the one side, so it's still more centered on the easement. The center line is more centered within the gravel
So there's
drive.
an easement there, but there's no driveway.
It's a
No,
gravel road.
there is one.
There is a walk.
Yeah,
Oh, there
it
is.
exists right through here and goes to this house here. And I'm not sure if there's another house over in here that it goes to, but
There's one more.
it's a shared easement through our parcel. It's definitely through our parcel.
Yeah, that's why we very, very adamant about like having this other construction entrance, because otherwise we're gonna create a huge difficulties for the neighbors.
It would make this job very much easier. I mean, there is gonna be a lot of material going this way that we'll try and haul out through this road. And that's why we're gonna try and improve it and put a stabilized construction entrance there too. But we're gonna try and minimize that, and if you give us permission to use this, they'd be going right out onto that road, onto Tuxedo Road, rather than have to come all the way up here and back around. He's apparently, and Boris is not here, he said that he had an off-site place to bring all the material to already. So wherever he's taking it, I don't know. It might be even out of Tuxedo Park. I don't know for sure. I don't know, Irina, did he say?
Yeah,
you?
no, it's not in Tuxedo Park, it's out. Definitely not in Tuxedo Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that answers that. Provide stormwater report and calculations. That would be all part of if we have to do a mitigation. And provide O&M, operation and maintenance for the same type of thing. That's simple, it's easy, it's nothing we haven't done before. And then there's discussion about the pile foundation and possible settling on the walkways or driveways around the outside. We've answered that by removing all the muck and putting in stabilized gravel on lifts, soil on lifts. The grading, they recommend be minimized. Well, it really is minimized. Other than putting this swale in here, we're not really adjusting the grades outside of where the parking is and where the building is itself. Outside of here, it's remaining all the same. And whatever's done here will be put back to natural again. So that's all I have on that. If you have questions, we'll be happy to try and answer them.
Is there any estimate on how many truckloads of material?
Well, if it were an estimate, it would be a rough estimate of any
Sure.
kind because there's anywhere from 6 to 11 feet of muck that has to be removed. We're also trying to remove it out far enough that the angle of repose of the soil that's put back in spreads wider than the driveway and wider than the
Yes.
property. As you can see, we're even, a portion of it is going to be going under where the building is.
Sure.
So that we do that. We don't know if we're gonna hit all muck. So it'd be a difficult number to give you. Boris may have come up with something, I don't know, but I haven't got that answer right now. He was going to be here, but he's not here,
That's
so.
okay, that's okay. No, I'm just trying to gauge the impact, to the community.
Neat. So. Don't know.
Good farming.
It's, well, yeah.
Anybody needs?
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought, I mean, people go out and buy that stuff.
To tell you, when we got the job, we didn't know that there was muckland there or anything, and I had a contractor come up here, we were gonna do some deep holes and tests. And the owner of the company came out with me just to look at the job, and I brought an iron rod with me about 30 inches long, and I just
That's right.
stuck it in the ground. I said, you can't come out here and dig, you know? So that ended that, and then we found out that, the hydraulic, engineer did a report. Previous work was done, that they just noted that it was muckland, but now we have a hydraulic report, hydrology, and, it just proves that it's there, and we knew it was there, but it tells you the depth because they did borings at times. So, this engineering firm also recommend that we do more borings. There's no reason for more borings if we're removing it all. That would just be a waste of time and money, and
We're already gonna
No,
spend a lot of money to
no, of
to
course.
mitigate all of this,
It's
yeah.
gonna be a lot to mitigate it and, well, I'm an engineer, you're an engineer, you know how engineers are when you give them an assignment, they did their job. I don't say that in a bad way, but, again, thanks for the presentation on those things. And if you can, give us a formal response to
we
these
definitely will.
that addresses these, and then we can.
We just didn't have time to do it today.
I didn't,
and,
you got it,
Yep.
you got it on Friday, right? I mean, or Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yesterday, that's
Yep.
on.
I think I emailed it on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
work Friday. and
That's okay.
That's my retirement day.
That's
Right.
okay.
No, I mean, that's fine. This is, there are gonna be a few more meetings. There's a whole nother board that you've got to get convinced before we,
What board is that?
BAR.
Oh, yeah, they would,
Architectural
but they
review.
really like our project,
Yep.
like
Yeah,
we
I
already
like
presented.
I like your project too.
We already presented this to
Oh,
the
okay.
house to them,
Okay,
so
good.
they just waiting for us to resolve the site situation. So I think Bar is very they definitely want to build
Okay.
this.
Can they approve conditionally?
Hmm?
Can they approve conditionally in the meantime? You said you.
No, they waiting for
They still need
your
this.
board, yes, guys. Like it's like they want to see that this is a real project
Yeah.
first, but they do like the house. They like the design. So which is a good news.
Okay, well, I thought that you had to leave early, so,
No, I don't, I changed.
okay, well, that's okay. You can be first anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to be, then we'll start at one end.
I'm good at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah, no other questions for me.
okay,
No questions.
okay, look at that.
I have
I-
a question.
Please,
You said that you've seen this before,
seen what before?
this application.
We've seen this application before, yes. This is not our first meeting. This was when, I could dig it up, but
It says,
Like a year ago.
a year ago or
yeah,
so.
it said,
What's the state of seeker?
The state of, I don't remember. I think we didn't,
It was, once again, it was really just
We
similar
didn't
to
have,
this
yeah,
meeting.
we just brought an idea at that time.
Okay.
Like we didn't have an engineer yet who did, we
So
didn't
like a
have reports.
concept plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just wanted to see if even the positioning of the house is something that is okay with the board. So we started with that, and then after we felt like yes, we're going in the right direction, we retained the site engineers, and then they gave us a bad news that we kind of knew that the site is difficult, but we didn't know to which degree. So yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't miss a lot.
no. And then there was a sort of interim unofficial filing that said, well, what if we put it over here on the next lot? We make that work. That, almost anyway, so. Okay, good, so far. Um,
I guess, Joe, also to be clear, there was at least one meeting with the Board of Architectural Review, but that was also just very preliminary, looking at drafts.
We had two actually meetings with them, yeah, and second time.
was here
like,
for one.
Yeah, we.
But no approvals have been given, just.
No,
preliminary
but
comments.
they were reacting
Mhm.
pretty well to the project, yeah.
I have one question.
okay,
The easement, how many homes does that affect?
Well, we know that there's one that's right here. I don't
The-
know if there's
the
one
two-
behind that further back. I think there is, but I'm not.
Two.
Two,
There's two of
yeah.
them.
Two.
Mhm, two.
So it's just the three properties involved.
it's been there forever.
Mhm.
Okay, I have a couple of questions slash comments.
Mhm.
My first comment is just having dealt with sites like this, when you're looking at the connections with the sewer and the water and whatnot, one of those connections that's got some flexibility in it when it comes to the house, because unless you're gonna take all the muck out under all the pipes, they're gonna settle too.
The pipe for the sewer is right here. And that area is all gonna be removed
Okay.
and backfilled with good fill. The water service is going out through here and there's probably minimal muck in this area because it's not in the low area. And the rest of it's going uphill,
Okay.
off-site
So-
and in solid ground.
Good. We already dealt with the reports, so you can cross that off.
How far is the sewer main from the corner of the house approximately?
Uh,
Typically, we'd require at least a 10-foot.
It's a very short distance,
Okay.
about 20 feet.
And I think consistently we've asked for 10 feet on each side of the center line of the pipe, so I think we should be okay.
It will be
Okay.
all removed.
Okay.
So, that, and as you've noticed from looking at deeds and stuff, the things like easements have always been a little, sketchy here historically. Probably because this started out being basically, the village was all owned by one company, so nobody ever thought about easements and the like. But I do know there's sewer and a large storm sewer, as you said, on the site. And John can talk more to this, but there may be some paperwork that needs to get sorted out as we finalize this about formalizing easements.
Yeah, I think we would be prudent to ask for formal easements and have approval to maintain and obviously repair the water and sewer mains that go through this property.
Okay, and any change on the driveway easement or? It is a legal easement right now, but if you wanted to recommend that we show a, 15-foot wide easement or something like that, I'm sure our client would be okay with that. It doesn't really affect the site at all. It just has a more formal easement.
Mhm.
Right now, it's just a center line.
Do you guys do like road maintenance agreements here?
We'd like to have them in place when a subdivision or something like that is happening.
Mhm.
I don't know legally what's in writing now with the two properties that cross this property.
They,
No.
I don't know what to tell you because they're all using the sewer, they're all using the storm drainage.
No, but as far as access over Mr. Umansky's property, you did give us something a while ago.
The deed shows an easement,
Okay,
Just doesn't specify.
but it doesn't discuss, like you said, it's just the center line.
It only describes the center line of the easement for a gravel road.
And it doesn't discuss any questions of shared maintenance. Like my house, my neighbor and I, we have mutual easements, and built into that is, you fix the driveway, we each have to pony up half the money.
Right.
That's a certain amount of that easement I'm less concerned about because that's a question of how you're going to deal with your neighbors in future. But I think seems like a good time to do it, but that's not something I think we need to require. I'm a little, obviously there are pieces of the road that appear to be on your property.
Definitely right up in here.
There and there, I don't know if the village, I tried to ask Mark, the mayor, this question, and he hasn't responded to me, whether we need to formalize that in any way.
I think it might be more of a question for the village attorney to opine
Yeah,
on,
exactly. So,
and the planning board attorney on how we want to make this,
Isn't that what I said? It should go to the village.
it should go to the village.
attorney
Yeah,
first.
I asked. So that was the one where we said it should go to the village. So. I will lean on the mayor to make him do something about that. I don't think that's not gonna stop us here. Our initial thought about the Tuxedo Road construction entrance is that we're not hugely happy with the idea. Isn't to say that we're absolutely not going to allow it, but I mean, well, first of all,
It's just the construction
It's a
entrance,
temporary
which
thing,
temporary
during
thing. We are
construction.
not asking for the permanent.
right, and I mean, and can it be restored, I guess is the next question, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Could be removed and restored to what it was.
That was sort of the base behind my question about how many people are using the road. I mean, what is the real downside of just using that driveway off Tower Hill as the construction entrance?
Well, it's a very hard turn, first of all, for trucks. It's difficult. I know I had a hard
Yeah,
time just with my
this one
pickup
is
truck
like-
getting in and out of there.
Yeah.
And the road is narrow. We are making it slightly wider, but it is a gravel road.
The
So-
posts also very close together
Mhm.
there. I'm afraid to get there like in my regular
Yeah,
car.
I have to take
Yeah,
a closer
it's,
look at it. No,
And,
It's,
and the haulage over that road with trucks and whatnot is probably going to rut it up and they're gonna have to replace it in kind somehow, but at the same time, it would be much simpler for the job for them to be able to use the front. And because they have that large area in here that they could use for a staging area for materials, temporary stockpiles, things like that. And that, again, that would be removed. It's labeled temporary. This is labeled temporary, main temporary stabilized construction entrance. So it's not something that's gonna stay there. They get a C of O on the house, that all goes away. And also the silt fences and things like that are all gonna be removed afterwards.
Right, I mean, I guess my real concern is whether there are gonna be issues with, soil compaction and the trees that are there, and I'm starting to sound like the bar, but,
There are maybe a couple of trees that'll probably have to come out. And then they wouldn't be on any of the other trees in that case.
right,
There are some. There's no trees in the middle of this area. There's no trees here. There's like one tree along this road here that might have, when it's widened, that one should come out. The rest of them are all clear enough.
Yeah, we have a list of trees on the right of the.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been working in half scale and my glasses aren't
Yeah.
strong
I
enough
can-
to read the little.
Yeah, I can tell you like which ones.
I mean,
180, 83.
When were you planning on widening the gravel road? At what stage of the?
That probably would be one of the first
The
things
first,
to
yeah.
do. And if at the same time they could put the other stabilized construction entrance in, that would all be one of the first items.
Does it make it easier to use that entrance once it's?
It would be easier for passenger cars and, smaller
But still not for-
vehicles, but not to have trucks going in and out continuously, which wouldn't be, I mean, after this gets all done, they'll fix that road on the way out and remove the stabilized construction entrance. And then it'll be just a little wider at the end. There's all pavement right here. And that's already fairly wide. We just want to widen the gravel portion. But it is a tight turn there. It is, it's very hard. And it's also on a steep slope at the same time coming in, so it's a difficult spot. This is a little steep here too, and it's slightly below the road right now, but that can easily be filled in with stabilized material, stone and whatnot as a temporary thing, so they wouldn't have that problem.
And is that,
I've driven in there myself right off the road.
is that gap in the wall larger than the other side? I mean, is that large enough to get the trucks through?
Yes.
It's big,
Yes.
yeah, it's much bigger.
We're on 30 scale.
It's about,
Between the pillars is 20, 22, 23 feet.
yeah,
And we're showing this at 20 feet wide, the stabilized construction entrance.
Should be able to make that without having to rebuild the walls.
It's actually a beautiful opening in the walls there. I don't know. I tried to ask Irina if she wanted to try and make that a permanent driveway for the
I
house
would love
instead of
to,
coming in the
but
other way.
we brought it up and we didn't get a good response, so.
Yeah, no, I don't, there's, well, I don't have any more questions, so I'm gonna look at Amy and say, what are we supposed to do next?
I don't have any more questions at the moment. I think we need to wait for, we certainly need the EAF.
You need a short form EAF?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably a type 2. But I think it's good to have the form.
I can have that for you in a day or two.
Um,
I just did 3 of them yesterday. Full, too full.
The mapper basically does all of it for you.
yeah, we do have the frogs and the eagles. And
I come from when we didn't have the mapper.
Yes. I remember that. That's why I went to structural.
So you won't do seeker until the short form EAF is in.
I mean, I'd feel better just being able to look through it and make sure that there's nothing, that there's nothing that sticks out about the application that would make it more than a type 2.
Okay.
And that will also give a chance to
We'll respond
do
to
the
that
back and
letter.
forth with the engineer. We're not trying to string this along, believe it or not. But we have to make sure that it is right in the front of everybody. So, I mean, I'm surprised we don't have a house full of people here. And moving forward, we're gonna need to see obviously a more, developed plan set for the final thing so we can get so that the engineer can I'm sure your pile plans and all will be correct, but
Now,
We're not doing a pile plan.
well, whoever is.
right, but that's one of the things we want to see if this project is moving along, right? Like, and in order to, because we have to
Okay.
hire a structural engineer to do the design, and it's of course the client paying money for that and everything. So
Agreed.
that's why we are trying like to get some kind of.
I would not get too deep into this until you get more feedback from our engineer after you submit your answers.
Mhm.
And after at least 2 more meetings with the BAR to see where you are with the architecture.
Yeah.
And I know the BAR was not against any aspect of the property, but I've also seen a lot of people, leave a meeting and then they come back and the bar may have a few more questions, regarding the architecture.
Mhm.
So I'd be very cautious about going too far with the engineering until you get some solid answers from Weston and Sampson, until we get a short form EAF so our attorney can look at it, have the village attorney look at the issues where your property is actually on the village road, so we can somehow legalize that. Let a few other things take place before you invest heavily in the engineering.
And I'm sorry if I was unclear. I wasn't saying that we needed a full plan development to do our what's essentially site plan approval.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to get those other site plan items
Okay.
finalized.
The actual piers and the building itself, that would be reviewed by the building inspector.
It would be me, and I would obviously rely on the engineer because this is not typical, construction in the village.
So that really isn't part of the site plan details.
Correct. Correct. And sorry, like I said, I'm a structural engineer, so I'm onto that stuff.
Yeah. So what is the sequence of events? Like we need to respond to the
You respond to this
questions?
letter.
Yes.
Our engineer may obviously have some follow-up questions. Our attorney has asked for a short form, environmental assessment form, to help bring her up to speed with the project. This is the first time she's seen it, even though we've only looked at it informally in the past.
Okay.
And we want the village engineer to look at the issue regarding your property, which is on the road, and vice versa, to see how we have to legalize that. And I'll also check as to see what easements we want, so we have authority and approval to maintain, our existing water and sewer mains that go through the property. Then we'll also confirm with Weston and Sampson, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna wanna make sure that we don't have any water from this site bleeding, into the reservoir, which is why we maintain, the requirement where people maintain the water on their own property.
So do we need to do the mitigation? Do they need to do the mitigation design or
I
not
would wait,
necessarily?
answer these questions first. You'll
Okay.
probably get a few questions in response,
Mhm.
and let's just walk this through for a few weeks, before we go too far. And I'm just being cautious, and that's why in my email to you late last week,
Mhm.
because I've seen this happen years ago, you get our engineer's letter, somebody answers all these questions in 2 days, you come back to the planning board and there's still other questions. So let's just, for a few weeks, let's just go through the process.
Right, but I mean, we meet every 2 weeks, or we will meet every 2 weeks if we have something to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, at this point, we would love to.
Well, and we've
This
mentioned in the
project.
past, you can concurrently go to the Board of Architectural Review. So we have a bar meeting the first Monday in February,
Mm.
if you'd like to come with answers and revised plans from your last meeting. I'll also
I think when we met with them last time, they kind of wanted to see what's happening with the site and but I think they didn't even want to talk more about architecture, that they were pretty satisfied with the architecture, but they wanted to see if the planning works. So I don't know if it makes sense
To
for
the
us.
best of my knowledge, right now, you're showing a site plan that doesn't require any variances.
Mhm.
It's really just engineering and some legal issues regarding
Mhm.
property boundaries. So I'd feel comfortable advising you to continue your discussion with the bar.
Okay,
yeah.
That's
I-
great.
I am cautiously optimistic that this is mostly gonna come out without too much pain.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the lawyer. I gotta look at somebody.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, that's what
Okay.
we'd like to hear.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
thank
you very
you.
much.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for
Appreciate it.
coming in.
We'll get back.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the faster you do this, the more it's our fault. All right, we have minutes to review, so we should do that next. The minutes were sent out shortly after the last meeting, and I looked at them and didn't have any significant comments. You reviewed them?
Yes, I didn't have any comments.
Okay.
Or I wouldn't have received it.
You wouldn't have received them because you didn't exist then.
Lucky.
In any meaningful sense.
Well, at least as far as this board was concerned.
Understood.
And through magic that's somehow been told to us by the village engineer, you guys can still vote on the minutes. Or we don't have to approve them? I'm so confused.
You don't have to approve them.
Okay, we're gonna accept the minutes as presented.
As a
It's
draft?
in the, yes, as in the draft.
Okay.
All right.
They do need to be posted on the website though.
They have,
They have been already.
Oh, that's excellent.
yeah, we post the drafts as soon as they're reviewed,
That's
because this can take years.
Yeah.
It took a year once. At some point, and it sounds like we're gonna have a meeting soon, I'd like to have a advice of council session to talk about sunshine laws. I don't know if you're prepared to talk about anything like that now.
I'm always prepared to talk about sunshine laws.
You guys have got 10 or 15 more minutes?
Yep.
All right, then I would like to move to an executive session for advice of counsel. We're not going to take any action on return from that. So, Ms. Desiree, you can go have dinner or something if you want.
Motion to adjourn?
Well, there was a motion to adjourn after that and, so we have a motion to go into executive session. May I have a second?
Second.
Yeah,
It's
advice
not-
advice of counsel.
Advice of
is
counsel.
Slightly better because it's not really executive session.
Okay. Gonna have an advice of counsel session.
Yes, advice of counsel.
Okay. All in favor?
Uh,
Okay, let's do that.
This was advice of counsel. not
Executive session, I know, they're conflated in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
they're
recording.
very conflated.
Okay, we've returned from advice from counsel. We have no further actions, except may I have a motion to adjourn? All right, all in favor? Aye, excellent.
At 8:01.
8:01. Thank you very much. everybody.
Hold on one second, please.